All right, this is part 2 of the notes. Let's finish these up here. If you look at number 22, this one's a little bit different. Notice that it's not equal to 0. You have a number on the right side. That is not good. So what we need to do here, we're actually going to move it so all of the numbers and variables are on the same side. This is not normal that we do it like this, but for a quadratic we want to. So I'm going to move the positive 8 back to the left. To move that positive 8, I'm going to go minus 8, minus 8. Now I got to be careful here when I rewrite this. This is x squared minus 7x minus 8 equals 0. So I'm trying to set this equal to 0. That's what I want. I cannot subtract. I can't do negative 7x minus 8 because these are different terms. This has an x, this does not. Okay, so now I'm going to factor. Well, let me take negative 8 on the side. 1 times 8, 2 times 4. Now one of these is positive, one of these is negative, and I have to get a negative 7 when I add them up. So do you see a winner? I do. I see 1 and 8. Now it has to give me a negative 7. So that means that the bigger factor, the 8, is negative 8 plus 1. Negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7. So the factors, we have x plus 1 times x minus 8 equals 0. Now we take each factor, set it equal to 0, and now you solve it. And these are simple equations to solve. You go minus 1, minus 1. You don't even really need to put the line straight down. You get x equals negative 1. That's one answer. Plus 8, plus 8. So we get x equals positive 8. That's your other answer. And we'll write it on the side here. Negative 1, positive 8. Now this is not x comma y. This is not an ordered pair. That's why I write the brackets and not the parentheses. And if I plug this back in, I can go ahead and test it. Now I'm going to test the original equation, x squared minus 7x minus 8. So the x, let's test negative 1 first. So parentheses negative 1. So negative 1 squared, and then minus 7 times negative 1. Now I'm going to hit enter. It should equal 8. And it does, so that's a correct answer. Now how about if I try 8? 8 squared minus 7 times 8. Does it give me 8? Yes, it does. There's my answer. So that's good. So that was 22. All right. For 23 and 24, go ahead and stop the video. See if you can solve this, and then come back and see if you get the right answer. On number 23, you're going to have to move all this to the other side. The first thing we want to do is you got to get everything on one side and make it equal to 0. So I'm going to move negative 10x. I'm going to move negative 16. I like the x squared positive, so I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to move this. I'm going to go plus 10x and plus 16 on this side. And so I'm going to go plus 10x plus 16 on this side. Now look at what happens here. I cannot combine x squared with any of these. So I'm just going to write x squared plus 10x plus 16 equals 0, 0, so I put a 0 there. Now I can factor. Now I factor. I'm going to factor the number 16. Can you think of two numbers that multiply to 16 and add up to 10? How about 2 and 8? 2 times 8 is 16, 2 plus 8 is 10. Now they're both going to be positive because everything is positive. So here's the winner. And we're going to say x plus 2 times x plus 8 equals 0. Now those are the factors, but now we have to solve it. So to solve it, take each factor, set it equal to 0. Now Now we'll solve this like a normal equation. Minus 2 minus 2. We get x equals negative 2. And then minus 8 minus 8. We get x equals negative 8. And we're good. That's our answer. If you check it, you'll see that it works. Negative 8 and negative 2. There's my solution right there. Right? If I check it, now I would check, since I have x's on both sides, I would take the x squared. So if I tried negative 8, so negative 8 squared gives me 64. How about negative 10 times x minus 16? Negative 10 times negative 8, and then minus 16. Does that give me 64? Yes. So the first answer is good. How about negative 2? Negative 2 squared is 4. And on the right side, negative 10 times x, which is negative 2, minus 16 gives me 4. Check. All right, so we're good. All right, we got one more problem here. Last one is number 24. X squared minus 49 is equal to 0. You look at this and you say, uh-oh, we're missing something. And what we're missing is the middle term. There's nothing there. So what I can do here, I'll put a 0. I'll make that 0x. So when you solve this, this is a trinomial, right, with 0 as one of your terms. We're going to factor. Negative 49 is our factor, or is our product. Now you're thinking, two numbers that multiply to 49 that add up to 0. If you add two things to get 0, they have to be opposites. So let's see, 1 and 49 is no good. What about 7 times 7? To multiply to get a negative, one of them is plus, one of them is minus. And if I do 7 and negative 7, if I add those, I get 0. So there's my winner. So over here on the side, we got x plus 7 times x minus 7 equals 0. Let's take each factor, set it equal to 0. Now we'll solve it. We'll go minus 7, minus 7. Now some of you might be seeing there's a little pattern when you're solving it where you don't really have to do all the work. As long as you are accurate here, just be careful. But if you want to skip a step or two with the adding, subtracting, you can. And so the answer is negative 7, positive 7. And the answer, both of those will make this true. They'll make this equal to 0. And that's the end of the notes for today.